Mostly my research is centered on gender presentations in new media, and then also related to that how sexuality is promoted or presented in new media forms. For my dissertation, I am looking at online coaching bios. Coaching bios contain information about coaches that are transmitted to recruits, to fans, to media professionals, and really can be the only source, the sole source of information about a coach at a university. Online bios can reflect heterosexism and homophobia in sport because at the end of online coaching bios, there's traditionally a section that is devoted to a family narrative, and that absence of a family narrative in certain coaches' bios can be indicative of homophobia and heterosexism.
Whenever you talk about the world of women's sports, and particularly how they're portrayed in the media, you have to look at the issue of homophobia and heterosexism. Because if you have nervous parents, nervous corporate sponsors, nervous TV executives thinking that, oh my gosh, you know, what will people say if these women are too masculine? One of the ways that you can reassure everyone is make them be hyper heterosexual and traditionally female, and that is a way to overcompensate for the fear that they might be too masculine, which is another way of saying that they might be lesbian.
The authors use personal interviews, personal experiences, and case studies to show the negative consequences of homophobia in sport. Something specific to our research is the documentation of how heteronormative, heterosexist, and homophobic narratives, and you guys can all try to say that 3 times fast at the end, marginalize and trivialize female athletes in sport media context. While there is a body of literature that has focused on athletes' portrayals in the media, far less attention has been given to coaches' representations in the media, despite the fact that the head coach is seen as the most visible position of power on sport teams.
I used to write these online coaching bios. I used to put them online. I didn't give it too much thought, except for now when I look back and I think, what would have happened if a coach had come to me and said, I would like to put my partner in my bio, and my first thought was that I would have to say, I need to ask my boss.
In the Big Ten, there was a complete absence of non-heterosexual family narratives. So all we saw in the Big Ten was coaches that had opposite sex, husband and wife, or no mention. Scholars have suggested that gay and lesbian coaches may self-police their sexual orientations due to fear of losing their job, recruiting implications, and homophobic backlash. It is also possible that the policing originates at the administrative level. As scholars assert, sport is colored by institutionalized homophobia.
It creates a toxic environment. Whether you're a player or a coach, you can immediately be targeted as somebody who can be gotten rid of, who could lose a scholarship, who could lose playing time, who could lose a job, who could lose a career, just simply as a function of a whispering campaign.
I want to be able to put my partner in my bio, and that is important to me, and I want to make sure that other people can put their partners in their bios without feeling that pressure that they're being policed, without it being a media spectacle. I could not do my research without walking the walk, and I think that it's really important for me as a lesbian to say that's who I am, and it's probably the least interesting thing about me, and I think that that's probably with a lot of coaches, with a lot of, just people. Being gay is what it is, and it's definitely like the least interesting thing about them. I mean, there's a lot more interesting things about me. I want to make it clear with this research that we are not trying to out people. We want to create tolerant environments for people to be comfortable to come out, to be able to put their partners in their bio, to have an open community.
One of the last barriers in women's sports to really be attacked or examined in a really systematic, empirical way is the whole issue of homophobia. Can we use research as a way that makes a positive difference in the impact of, again, not just a particular segment, but of everyone, so that discrimination becomes the last barrier to fall. And when that happens, everybody benefits, not just lesbian athletes and coaches.